If you're on LinkedIn to do business, the starting point should be relevance. And
What are some of the mistakes you made when you first started doing this?
I think in the beginning, my messages were way too long.
SalesRobot is a very good tool to just showcase the best of your content.
One of the next things that I want to start to do with SalesRobot is to start.
hello, everyone, and welcome to SalesRobot Customer of the Week, a new show where we interview the best SalesRobot customers and dive deep into their messaging, targeting, and personalization tactics so that you can take away something to implement in your cold outreach starting tomorrow. Today, we have Cody Ruby from CR Astute Group from the other podcast. Welcome to the show, Cody.
Hey, thanks for having me, Saraf.
Awesome. So let's get right into it. What does your business do and how do you make money?
So, in short, we are a headhunting firm. Our focus is recruiting IT, software development engineering. We're pretty niche in the Microsoft stack technologies. So, if you're in tech and you've heard of things like .NET, SQL Server, Azure, that is the specific area that we recruit for. We make money because our companies pay us to find them the right people for their teams. A lot of that is around Microsoft does a modernization effort probably every 4 or 5 years. So companies want to move to the newer versions. We help them hire the engineers that have done it maybe somewhere else in a larger firm. So the candidate or the new employee is now being incentivized to go do it somewhere else. But if you're familiar with headhunting and recruiting, that's what we do.
Awesome. So I will not bury the lead here. You obviously are the customer of the week, and the campaign that got you here was one that you ran 6 months ago. Do you remember which one it was?
You know what? They're up and down. I know that you had sent that over to me. So full disclosure, you have to remind me of which one stood out that worked. Because again, some of them do very well and some of them don't do so well. And that's kind of where you A/B test and see what works.
Awesome. So I'll not bury the lead. I'll refresh your memory there. So I'll just share my screen and first of all, show you exactly the one that got you here. All right. Perfect.
All right.
Right. So this was the one. You ran it 15/9/2024. So 15 September last year. And this is the one. You had a very impressive 47% response rate, which is way ahead of average. The average response rate is close to 15%. So this is much higher. And the request acceptance rate is, right about there, between 20 and 25%. So awesome. So with that, let's get into the sequence. Talk me through this.
So I've been using the advanced features, and really what that does is it helps warm up my ICP when I'm reaching out to them. So it's not just hitting them with a connection request in the first part of the sequence. I have my LinkedIn profile set to public. So if I click on view your profile, you see that it's me viewing your profile. Do that for two reasons. Number one, if you're a salesperson, I actually count that as a touch point. So when someone goes, oh, who viewed my profile? Oh, Cody did. And it's got my LinkedIn headline and so on and so forth. It also keeps me disciplined that I'm only clicking on the right profile and don't just fall down the rabbit hole clicking whomever. So I use the advanced features of SalesRobot as the first step to, number one, like their post. And then the next step is to view their profile. And then the third step is to follow their profile. So if they stay on top of who's looking at them on LinkedIn, I've already had 3 warm-up touch points before I even reach out to them to connect on LinkedIn.
Right. And I love that you're dealing it out a little bit as well. Like it's not like all on the same day. You're playing the slow burn strategy. It's a good, you're giving them a touch point almost every day, right? Like, following, reviewing a day after, and then following 2 days later. So I like the slow burn.
Right. And even with the way that SalesRobot only sends so many out per day, that cadence might be one day apart in SalesRobot settings, but it might be with the maximum amount going out per day, it might be only one every 3 days that they're actually getting it. So my campaigns have anywhere between 8 to 10 parts of the sequence, and it might take 2 to 3 weeks to get through that if I've got anywhere from, say, 50 to 100 people in that campaign.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think this patience really pays off. So with that, let's get into some of the messaging, right? Send connection requests. Why did you choose this?
So I know we talked about this before, that you had asked about personalization. One of the things that I've started to learn is more I'm focused more on relevance over personalization. So I'm not going to mention that we went to the same college together or that we both like fishing or whatever. It's just that this is my space. I work in, again, the Microsoft stack engineering area. It looks like you and I operate in the same cinematic universe. Mind if we connect? So it's more relevance, not personalization.
Yep. No, I love that. As we've talked before, right? I'm a relevance fan. I'm not a personalization fan. I think if we're on LinkedIn to do business, the starting point should be relevance and hyper relevance. And this definitely plays into that. So I really like this approach. So send connection request and then you wait a day. You like it. Let's get into the copy of the message.
So this I learned from the coaching that I had invested in, because I know this I'm really leveraging LinkedIn as a tool. So after they connect, there's no hard sell. It's really just, hey, thanks for the connect. This LinkedIn post that I did puts a face to the name, and it's basically a video that I put on LinkedIn introducing myself, which was done as a LinkedIn post. So since I did it in like September, it's got thousands and thousands and thousands of views and thousands of impressions. But again, no hard sell. It's the same kind of message. Hey, this is my world. This is what I do. We help people in this space as far as hiring. We help engineers in this space find better opportunities. Glad to be connected.
Yep.
All right. So again, no hard sell on that one.
Is that what you see on the video as well?
I think it's like a 45 to 45 second to 1 minute video that just introduces myself. And then they can like at least put a video to the name. I'm standing here just in this exact same spot. And then usually if I get a response to that, then obviously it drops them out of the cadence and I have to follow up with them personally. But if they don't respond at all to that, another message goes out. In fact, there might even be one where I even like view their profile or or something. Right. Yeah.
No, I really like this because one of the reasons why I like this is actually super patient, right? You're sending this 15 days after the last one. So you're connecting, liking their post, and then waiting 15 days. So that's a hell of a slow burn. So you would not be classed into the rest of the people who are just trying to connect and sell within 1 hour of connecting. So it's it's a very effective approach.
That particular campaign was not for a specific business development purpose. Like if I was recruiting for a position, my cadence would be a lot shorter. I'm probably going to be reaching out to those guys either by phone or by email to get in touch with them 24, 48 hours apart from each other each step. And that's one thing I'm very conscious of. One thing I'm very conscious of is you always have to have at least 1 or 2 campaigns running. Once you can't be continuing to do business without a campaign running at some point. So I don't let any of them exhaust and have no campaigns running.
How about this? Does this get you a few responses?
What's this one?
You're still coding first time?
That is, I mean, again, that's probably my 4th or 5th attempt. Right.
Yeah.
So some of those usually go unanswered. Usually if someone's in a management position, that's kind of when they'll respond like, no, I'm in management now. I'm not actually in the code anymore. So I haven't really gotten so granular to see at which point in the cadence they responded. I just want them to respond. I don't care what. It could be the first message. It could be the 9th message. So I haven't quite broken it down and had the time to spend to get in there. I just use this tool every single day.
Awesome. So with that, let's get to the overall stats again. So 19 total responses, right? And a few of those came from the You Still Coding one as well. I think 5 of them came from there, and then 14 of them came from the video. So I can see on the stats that both were successful. The video one was a little more successful. Perfect. So do you remember any particular conversations from this campaign? If not, we can pull those out and see,
From this one in particular, no. I think that once, again, I've got so much else going on, full disclosure, that once I get them in, I just kind of take them through that. And I know that you had mentioned to some of the other future planning would be to really just see exactly not only which campaign they came from, but at which stage most of my responses are coming from.
Yeah. Awesome. No worries. I think I can see a few here. Like some people are replying back to hi, yes, I'm still coding. This is something that's getting your replies. This one is no, which is again a response. This is like just the connection message. They're happy to connect. Yeah, and then sometimes you're getting into a good conversation as well, right? So it's something that is clearly working. Awesome. So no, this is a great campaign. I think there's a lot to learn from this one.
Yeah. So what we can learn first and foremost from this campaign is just like the importance of having something running in the background. And that's something that a lot of people ignore, right? They just do everything last minute, and then they're just trying to be a little more aggressive with their prospects, and that doesn't tend to work well.
Yeah, I think it can be used in two different ways. Obviously, if you have a level of urgency and you're trying to get something done, you can put together a campaign where the sequence steps are a little bit closer together. But I think in general, if you're doing any kind of sales work and you do have an ICP, keep looking those guys up either on LinkedIn or LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Put them in a campaign that almost never ends. I think one of the next things that I want to start to do with SalesRobot, along with just adding extra steps to my existing sequences, is to start building campaigns around these first level connections that I've made over the past year or so, and then just start almost using it as a channel to send out value added content just to stay top of mind and not just do everything over regular emails and phone calls. Right. Which
Absolutely.
might be sharing a blog article or sharing something else with them that SalesRobot can be used for, again, sharing your content, which might just be a one-step campaign to, 100 of your first level connections.
Absolutely. And that is a lens that a lot of people don't take, and that confuses me because SalesRobot is a very good tool to just showcase the best of your content to your network, right? And that's how you ultimately build trust, by showing up with like valuable content. I'm not talking about content for the sake of content, right? That doesn't work. But if you've got good content, SalesRobot is a wonderful tool to actually push that out to your network, have them see you as somebody who does bring valuable content into their lives.
No, it's been great. I think one of the things that it allows you to do in LinkedIn is just it lets you be, instead of trying to do one-on-one outreach, it lets you do that one-to-many outreach.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. All right. So that brings me to my final question. What are some of the mistakes you made when you first started doing this?
I would say, I look back at some of my previous messages and, not just in SalesRobot, even just emails. I think in the beginning, my messages were way too long, and I just did the proverbial talk more about me and what my company did, and wasn't really relevant to the types of problems that I solve and the ICP that I do the best work with. And then also my call to actions were poor, meaning that my ask was just way too big, or it was just this dead end message that didn't have any call to action at all. Right. And getting back to these messages being way too long, I think that there's only so much real estate you have in terms of the subject line. If you look at your phone, your messages, you've got the subject line, and then there's like two little lines in gray underneath there.
Yeah.
And to a degree, like, that's all the real estate you have. Like, you have just those 9 to 12 words to get your point across. So when you start off with, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, I do all this great work," you've already lost them. So very, very conscious of wordsmithing that subject line and that first sentence so they actually read it.
Awesome. So those are all the questions I had, Cody. Thank you so much for coming on. And for those people who do want to find you online, want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Best place is LinkedIn. All right. I think it's, if you look on LinkedIn for Cody Ruby, I'll be there. I think even my LinkedIn URL is / Cody Ruby. And I'm probably posting every other day and engaging a lot. So you can find me on LinkedIn.
Awesome, Cody. Thank you so much for doing this. Take care.
All right. So,
Bye-bye.